It's amazing what good mornings will force you to think about. I woke up this morning after a night shift, so 4 hours of sleep is all I could manage today. The bloody bladder woke me up again, and then once I've gone to the toilet, I can't get back to sleep. I tried, go back to bed, and I'm like sitting there rolling around, and I had a random thought. I'm feeling, erectors are spent, hamstrings are gone. I'm thinking, okay, today I said I was going to do some bent over rows. And I'm like, oh God, I don't really want to do them, man. My back is fried. How am I going to do them? And then I'm thinking about it. Then a random thought popped in. And I'm thinking about barbell rows. And I'm like, Ivan, you're not going to bloody skip out on these, man. These are meat and potatoes of your existence. You got to fit it in some way, either today or tomorrow, but you're not leaving them out. Regardless of the good morning and all the drama that you've had in the past about fitting in barbell, they're not going anywhere. And I'm sitting in there thinking about that, and I'm like, you know what? If barbell rows make such a big difference when it comes to your deadlift, right? What would happen, or is this true, that pull-ups could help you with your squat? Now, what did I think about that? Well, barbell rows have you bent over rowing. Well, if you do upright rowing, or i.e. pull-ups, if you do pull-ups, maybe that's going to help you with your verticality. So one, bent over row, helps you in the bent over position. What if I just do pull-ups? Will that help me with my squat? Random thought. And that kind of initiated a cascade of thoughts about, man, I've missed pull-ups so much, man. I love pull-ups. Yeah, I don't believe them. They're going to help me here as much as like barbell rows. I don't want the barbell rows to be affected. They're already getting smashed with the bloody good mornings now that I've inserted. If I put pull-ups, man, the barbell rows are going to suck big time. So I walk in here and I'm like, I'm going to do some bloody pull-ups. I don't care. I'm doing bloody pull-ups. I walk in and I'm like, I'm going to go to my favorite, which is the wide pull-ups. I'm going to go wide, man. I've not done pull-ups in a long bloody time. I even rejigged my rack so the thing points upwards. My pull-up bar on the rack. Usually it's pointing downwards, but I wanted to put it up so I can really do the wide grip. So I set that up. First set, no warm-up. I jump on and I do 20. 20 at the heaviest weight I've ever been, which is I think now 102 kilos or something like that. My PR is 17 reps in this. And this was like 4 years ago, man. Good 3-4 years ago at a much lighter weight. So then I'm sitting and I'm like, well, how did that come about? Barbell rows, man. The barbell rows help my pull-ups. Out of nowhere, I'm able to do 20. This is my PR. PR on pull-ups after not doing them for years. What's up with that? Well, I'll tell you what's up with that. Rows. Has to be rows. So that was that. Happy about myself. I walk off and I'm like, I'm going to do some barbell rows after this. No, I didn't. I never did them. I will do them tomorrow, that's for sure. The reason I didn't do them is because I wanted to do some wide stand squats. And I get in my wide stand squat and I thought to myself, Ivan, why don't I try to maximize the best of both worlds? So why don't I try stay as vertical as possible? Once again, the good mornings have screwed me up, man. I really don't want to bend over today. I'm like, okay, let me do a stance, regardless of what position it is. Let me do a stance which is going to maximize my verticality. And so then I come up with this. This is a medium. I'm going to write it down in my journal. Medium stance squat, fully upright. This is as upright as I can get. As upright as I can get. And what do I get out of that? Well, something interesting happened here. The wide stance is amazing for me. I've concluded that. It is amazing for me. Beautiful stuff. However, the limitation that I have with them, with the wide stance, is that the adductors cannot go full depth. I can't go ATG with them. So then I thought, okay, with narrow I can go full ATG, but I miss out on the wide perspective. So why don't I go in the middle? Go medium stance, go still ATG, externally rotate my feet and try and catch all of these aspects together. And I tried it and it felt weak, much weaker than my narrow, obviously. But the adductor did not hurt. I got depth, the adductor didn't hurt. Everything felt well and stacked. And I feel in this position, I can sink a lot of volume in like I can with wide stance. So the wider stances, the medium and the wide, I feel I can sink a lot of volume in. The narrow, I can't. It bothers. My hips get bothered. Not my groin, my hips. So when I go wide, my groin hurts when I go back to narrow. So wide is great. I could do wide until the cows come home. Wide, 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 beautiful. But then I go back to narrow and then I start to fall apart, right? The groin starts to hurt. If I just do narrow, 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 the hip starts to hurt. What if I do medium? So I get the benefit of the wide and I get the benefit of the narrow, which is the depth. Maybe this is it, man. Now, a lot of you guys, a lot of yous have said, Ivan, a little bit wider on your stance. I could name all of you guys. Just a little bit wider, man, sitting between your feet. Now, why didn't I do that? Well, number one, aesthetically, I don't like how it looks. But I've gotten to a point in my life that, dude, I'm doing wide stance squats. That is vomit central, but I'm doing it. Why? Because it feels good and I'm getting benefits and it's a weakness. Fully subscribe to that idea now. So the aesthetics thing is out of the window. But I'll be honest with you, it's kind of low. It's really, really low. So that kind of looks nice to me that way. So I like that. I'm sitting between my feet. I'm externally rotated. The hip is happy. The groin is happy. Everything's bloody looking really, really good. So I think this is going to be my in-betweener. Obviously, my expression of strength is always going to be narrow, I think. Just because that's the stance that I have power. This is my power stance. So I think that's going to be it. But I reckon my training volume can be sunk into this. And I feel like it's the best of all worlds. And all of this was really sprung on me because of the good mornings. The good mornings have fried my erectors, my hamstrings. I really cannot bend over today. Probably is going to be even worse tomorrow. But I will, I promise you. I will not let go of the barbell rows. Absolutely not. I will fit them in somewhere. I'm just mindful of barbell rows getting closer and closer to the deadlift day because then that's going to affect that. So ideally, it would have been great today. That's okay. We're going to leave today for squat volume. I've done 5 sets. I'll do another couple now. And then tomorrow it can be bench and rowing. That's all I'm going to do tomorrow. But if I go the next day or the day after that, now I'm kind of only 3 days away from deadlifting. And so when you put rows and deadlifting together, it's kind of like it starts to eat from the same plate, and then you start to get interference between the two exercises and gets a bit murky, which I've experienced for many years. So programming these two things, best to be done on the same day, really. So I should have done it yesterday, but yesterday I did good mornings. So maybe the workaround with that is, do your deadlifts, do your rows, and then do your good mornings. But, there's always going to be interference. Ideally, it would be best to do it all in one day, but you got to manage the volume. Anyway. Pull-ups PR, amazing, out of nowhere. Thank you, Mr. Barbell Rowing. And then the medium stance squatting. Thank you, wide stance squats. And good mornings for bringing that about. And also, thank you to the thousands, I reckon, by now, who have said, Ivan, a little wider, man, just a little wider is going to be meat. It's going to be sweet. Obviously, this is going to take a little time to strengthen this position after doing bloody millions of days of narrow. But I reckon this is the perfect spot where I can sink a lot of volume in and keep happy. I really, really hope I'm going to stay healthy in the hip and the groin in one stance. Man, that would be a bloody dream. Appreciate you guys like always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.